Brandis, the long-debated historic $1 trillion infrastructure bill sits on President Joe Biden's desk after the U.S. House passed the measure late last week. It provides big investments in roads, bridges, railways, and broadband internet. According to Illinois Congressman Sean Casten, the state will see billions from this plan over the next 5 years, including $149 million to expand the state's electric vehicle charging network, a minimum of $100 million for statewide broadband coverage, $27 million to protect against climate-related events, nearly $10 billion for highways, $1.4 billion for bridge repair, $22 million to protect against cyber attacks, $1.7 billion to improve water infrastructure, aka lead pipe replacement, and more than $600 million to develop airport infrastructure. And joining us with their perspectives are Reverend Larry Bullock, President and CEO of the U.S. Minority Contractors Association, and Michael Storino, President and CEO of the Illinois Road and Transportation Builders Association. Welcome both of you back to Chicago tonight. Michael Storino, what are the big projects in Illinois and the Chicago region that are going to get a big boost now from this bill?
Well, it's great to be here, and thanks for inviting both of us. Reverend Bullock and I have a great relationship and look forward to seeing the federal infrastructure program make that even stronger. There are so many projects on the waiting list. I can go on for hours, but I know time is limited. Just tomorrow, there's going to be a big press event where President Harmon and Speaker Welch are going to call for action on the 290 corridor to improve the nation's most congested highway, to reconnect neighborhoods, to improve the aging transit system. Lakeshore Drive is another great project that needs to be addressed. It needs to be hardened up. There's a big chunk of money for resiliency. That's to improve our infrastructure to make it withstand some of the severe extreme weather events that we are experiencing and likely will experience. I-80 is moving, and I know thanks to Governor Pritzker and Rebuild Illinois, but it can certainly use an infusion of money to make that project go quicker so that that truck traffic can get to and fro in the Southland region of Chicago.
So Mike, you bring up I-290. I was just on that Hillside Strangler yesterday, so that's been on the minds of public officials for a long time. Reverend Bullock, what does this mean for jobs, especially for union labor in Illinois?
Well, thank you once again, Parrish, for having us. As Mike had indicated, we look forward to these getting the band back together again. We've been on here before, prior to the bill passing, and certainly had our perspectives from our various constituencies. My main concern has and continues to be the issue of how these funds are spent and if they are spent equitably, and if there's diversity and equity involved in the expenditures, especially in the major urban areas, such as the city of Chicago, the greater Naperville area and Rockford and places like that. But we also represent, as you know, across the United States. We're in 16 states, so we have an interest beyond just Illinois. But here in Illinois, I said the last time we were on, I'll say it again, we've got to make certain that we deal with the issue of wastewater management and wastewater treatment, because those things affect the quality of life for so many people, especially in these urban areas.
And is there money for this? Is there significant monies for that?
Yes, not enough, but you know, we're on once before, and we talked about the American Society of Civil Engineers and the Illinois Society of Civil Engineers, which basically said to us that we are about 20 years behind in adequately funding our infrastructure, particularly dealing with wastewater management and dealing with drinking water, lead pipes, and things like that. Those are things that affect persons' lives directly on a daily basis. You can't live very long without water. And we have so many communities today that are like the situation out in Dixmoor and Harvey and Robbins and places like that, not just up in Flint, Michigan and places like that. So I'm glad to see the funds in. And I was listening this morning to former Governor, now Secretary of EPA, Jennifer Granholm, talking about this bill and how clean energy and the jobs from this clean energy are going to be jobs that we cannot export. And so that to me is very important. I'm concerned about the bridges and the highways, but I'm concerned about the clean energy and dealing with wastewater treatment.
Mike Storino, speaking of clean energy, there's a lot of money for electric vehicle charging stations, and Governor Pritzker's talked about wanting to improve Illinois' infrastructure in that regard. What will come out of this bill as it relates to EVs?
Well, it's a very exciting time in the electric vehicle world. Illinois has the Rivian plant, and the more we can move towards electric vehicles, we can support one of our own major manufacturers. What's interesting about electric vehicles, we're not at the technology where people are over the range anxiety, and we're not at the point where it's readily affordable to most folks in Illinois. So this bill is looking at addressing those two issues. In fact, there's new technology. It's being deployed in other countries. I'd like to see it deployed right here in Illinois, where you can integrate electric charge right into the highway, and you can have cars right over it, wireless dynamic charging of vehicles. We can be a world leader in electric vehicles and make our environment cleaner and make our economy stronger.
Yeah, I think in northern European countries like Denmark, they've been doing things like that. Reverend Bullock, I want to point to a comment that the Transportation Secretary, Pete Buttigieg, made today about racism that was kind of inherent in some planning decisions in urban areas in the past. Let's take a look at that.
I'm still surprised that some people were surprised when I pointed to the fact that if a highway was built for the purpose of dividing a white and a black neighborhood, or if an underpass was constructed such that a bus carrying mostly black and Puerto Rican kids to a beach, or that would have been, in New York was designed too low for it to pass by, that obviously reflects racism that went into those design choices. I don't think we have anything to lose by confronting that simple reality.
And Reverend Bullock, he was talking about New York, but this is the kind of thing that's been discussed in Chicago with respect to planning over the last 50 years. So how do transportation and infrastructure decisions have to be made here to guard against that?
Well, as you know, systemic racism exists in America. It has since 1619. So we're under no illusions that systemic racism was not involved in engineering and design. We know it's true. And they've had empirical evidence to verify that. And some would say that we need to break down these barriers that have been constructed structurally in terms of actual infrastructure construction to ease the access of these communities back into the greater economy. Now, we're looking at some of this down in Texas. We're looking at some of this down in Tennessee. And certainly we have situations here in the city of Chicago. The proverbial expression that you live on the wrong side of the tracks, that is a fact, that we create communities based on different sides of the tracks. And so if you remove those visible structures, you go an awful long way to bringing about a greater diversity and equitable solution in economic development. For example, we know that Dan Ryan went right down the middle of a community. And we know for years in my district, when I was in the House of Representatives, if you're on the west side, you're in Bridgeport, Canaryville. If you're on the east side, you're basically in the public housing project, Robert Taylor Homes, Ida B. Wells Stateway Garden. So we know, and I agree with Secretary Buttigieg, that this is a great time if we're going to rebuild these structures to eliminate those types of barriers that have existed since this country was founded.
And in fact, he said that there is funding in here to undertake some of those efforts. There's so much in this bill, and we've only gotten started discussing it. Our thanks to Reverend Larry Bullock and Mike Storino.
Thank you.